This is a video about test 10, section 5, question 13. So this is a visualization problem, and it says the figures above represent three pieces of cardboard. All angles of the cardboard pieces are right angles. All short sides have length 1, and all long sides have length 2. Which of the following figures could be made from only, it's a keyword, the three pieces of cardboard without overlapping or cutting them? So one way to go about this problem is to divide all of the shapes into squares of side length 1. Oops, so let's see if I could do this. This will be a little bit tough since this is not a very fine point on this pen. So this one has 3 squares, this one has 5, and this one, of course, is just 1. And then we could divide these other shapes up also. So our first starting point could be just to say, could this be made up of these shapes? Since it says only using these shapes, it technically means that you don't have to use all 3 because it doesn't say using each of these 3 shapes. So you don't have to use all 3. So the final shape doesn't have to be 1 plus 5 plus 3, giving us 9. But it does need to be able to be made up of the shapes that we have here. But dividing the shapes up this way might help us see what can and cannot happen in these shapes. And it doesn't say not drawn to scale, so we can assume that what we're seeing is accurate. Just gonna fix that up a little bit. Okay, so it's pretty ugly, but I think you get the idea. Okay, so then we're looking to see if these shapes could be made up of the shapes that we've been given here. So let's check out the first shape. So I would try to plug in this second shape first because it's going to be the hardest to accommodate. And we can see that the only place that shape could go in this particular drawing is right here because that's the only space for it. And then we just have to ask ourselves, since we only have one of this and one of this left, because it says we could use these shapes only these 3 shapes, implying that you can't just repeat this shape over and over again. Then we don't have what we need to fill in these missing parts here. So, these are the missing parts. And we don't have the right pieces for this. So 1 is out. Okay, can we make the second one? Let's see. Well, can we fit this largest shape in here? We can. It just might be a little bit hard to see where it would go, but it could go right here. And then we have to ask ourselves, could we fill in the remaining areas with the shapes we have? In fact, we could, because the shape right here is this shape right here. And then we just have our one little square left. So we could make up this shape with the 3 pieces of cardboard that were given. So this could work. This could not work. Okay, the first one could not work. Okay, and lastly, could we fit our biggest, clumsiest shape in to the third shape? Well, we can't even find a place for this shape, so we know automatically that this is out because there's no way to fit this into this shape. So then we know, also, it is a little bit worth noting that this is only made up of 8 squares, and that's not necessarily going to make it so that these 3 pieces couldn't make it up, but just the configuration of the 8 squares makes it impossible for it to be made up of the 3 cardboard pieces we're given. So therefore, number 2 is the only one that works. So C is our correct answer for this question.